Hey everyone, Renee here. Welcome to day 4 of my winter skincare routine series. Today is going to be device day. It's all about the devices, so I'm going to show you what I use and how I use them, how they're incorporated into my routines. So I mentioned in my last video that last year there was this stretch of time where I had a good run with my devices. I was consistent, I was keeping it up, I was seeing the difference it was making, and then I kind of dropped the ball at the beginning of this year. So hopefully today we'll kickstart another good long stretch. So I've already cleansed my face, and my morning routine is when I find it to be the best time to use microcurrent. Microcurrent simply exercises the muscles in your face. This is not a topical treatment. It's not about the surface of your skin. It's beneath that. It's what's holding everything up. We can use all the topical treatments for hyperpigmentation, smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, glow. But if the muscles start sagging, then the face starts sagging. So I use this to improve firmness and maintain it, but I love using it in the morning because it will give a bit of a slight temporary lift, but also it helps with my puff face in the morning as well. But just like with body exercise, in order to maintain results, you really have to be consistent. So I try to do 3 times a week. That's very much an attainable goal for me. So I'm going to be using my new face. I actually prefer this ergonomically. I like this handle part. I like holding it like this. It just is easier for me, or at least it just suits me better. I'm going to be using their gel primer in Brighten. For what it's worth, out of all the devices I've used and all their accompanying gel primers, the ones from NuFace are by far the most elegant. So whenever it comes to any kind of device that requires a conductive gel, I always just use the ones from NuFace. So I'm only going to apply gel on the areas that I'm immediately focusing on. I'm going to start with the neck. I apply a pretty liberal amount. So I'm going to do 3 strokes 3 times, starting from the bottom of the neck, moving upwards. I do 1 stroke per beep, which is always a lot slower than I expect. If there are certain areas that you want to focus on more, you can just leave the device right there. Like right now, the wattle area is where I am just going to leave this for a second. And then the jaw area. You don't even need to be using pressure, just gently. The device will do all the work. If at any point you feel a bit of a zzz or zapping, that means there isn't enough conductor gel in that area or it's dried down already. I do like to leave it a little longer on the sides of my face, just to lift everything back. Above the jaw area, you're really just focusing on the nasal labial folds and outwards. So from the nasal labial folds, I like how cool the primer gel is. It's kind of refreshing. You can put this right up to under your eyes. You want to go right up to the temples. So from the nose, three times. Personally, I don't think you need microcurrent if your skin is still youthful. I think if you're in your 20s or even before that, you don't really need it. It's way more effective in your 30s and onwards. Again, if there are areas you just want to focus on lifting a bit more, just leave the device there. Under the eye area, actually go right up there. And then the forehead, I actually even go over my eyebrows. So 3 strokes moving into the center, 3 times each, starting from the outer brow. This part is pretty important because the head kind of lifts the entire face. So the forehead is probably the most important. You know, as you get older, the eyelids start drooping. This will help with that. Just let it rest in the hairline. I actually start a little below the eyebrow. And sometimes I just leave this here. Just leave. You don't have to press down hard, you just leave the device there. And then I do the center. So that's it. That is the bare minimum. 3 strokes each, 3 areas on the neck, and then 3 areas on the sides of the face, and then 3 areas on each side of the forehead. You can repeat it many more times than that. My face does actually feel different right now. It feels more energized and strangely lighter. You know, I don't know if you can tell, you know, from the camera any kind of difference, but it definitely feels different. And, you know, whatever is remaining of the gel, most of it, to be honest, is already dried down. Whatever isn't, I just pat into my skin. If anything, my skin feels really hydrated right now and quite plump, with no stickiness or residue at all. In fact, feels pretty smooth. It's easy to layer other skincare on top of it, but also this has niacinamide. It's full of peptides. So this is kind of like my hydrating essence / toner step sorted. I definitely feel like I need some lipids right now though, so I'm going to my favorite daytime oil serum of the moment, because this one is just so packed with antioxidants. So it's like 2 in 1. It's like an antioxidant serum and, you know, a nice balanced lipid layer as well. This is a blend of dry oils, so it's not the kind that's heavy. It actually dries down and absorbs quite quickly. So I do a couple of drops and I just press it into my skin. Everything just kind of relaxes after I use this. And like I said, it's really a fast absorbing, fast drying down oil. And then you know the rest, my Peach and Lily Pure Peach Retinoic Eye Cream. This is perfect for the daytime and perfect for the winter as well, because it's not too heavy, but it is still creamy. And then my trusty Klairs Midnight Blue Calming Cream, which really does calm and soothe, and it really helps alleviate any potential bad retinizing situation. This is the ultimate skin calming cream. It's got the guaiacoline, the Centella asiatica, but it's also very moisturizing as well and has ceramides in it. This really has been my go-to for years. So a new drugstore favorite that I've been using as sunscreen is this one from Garnier Green Labs. Their Canna-B Pore Perfecting Serum Cream with an SPF of 30. There are 3 serums that came out in this line. This is the only one that really stood out to me, and this is really good. I've been using this. This has been one of my winter sunscreen go-tos. So they market this as an all-in-one serum, cream, and sunscreen. I actually find that this works the best as just a sunscreen. It's not moisturizing enough for a cream, at least not for right now. Though in the summer, I think this is like perfectly super lightweight. The finish of this is actually very pleasantly velvety. So this would really suit those of you with combo oily skins, especially during the summer. But it's also the perfect lightweight for me to use over my moisturizer as well. It's got the niacinamide, but also the hemp seed oil, which is a very dry oiling. This is an organic sunscreen, which means it uses chemical filters, but it doesn't use octinoxate, and I actually tend to go for organic sunscreens when my skin is retinizing, only because zinc oxide tends to be so astringent on my skin that is already dry and quite sensitive. So a lot of the organic sunscreens tend to be less irritating on my skin, but also less drying as well. This actually has one of the nicest and most elegant applications, and it's moisturizing, but it's really lightweight. It glides all over your skin, but like silk. This is just not heavy at all. In fact, it would suit every skin type, including very sensitive skins like mine. I'm using it while my skin is actually retinizing. There's no scent to this. In fact, even the sunscreen scent is so faint and disappears really quickly. And then my OG sculpted lip oil that I love so much. So that's it for my morning routine. Evening routine with LED is next. So I'm going to show you how I incorporate my LED mask into my evening routine. You know, with devices, you really can use them at any point during the day. You just have to make sure that it's on clean skin. They just work way more effectively that way. So my double cleanse today, again, is just going to be a water rinse and my Paula's Choice Optimal Hydrating Cleanser. I feel like that's all I need today. There's really nothing sitting on top of my skin. Didn't wear any makeup, nothing water resistant on my skin, and my entire time outdoors, I was wearing a mask. But also while I'm retinizing, my skin can lean towards the drier side, and there's no congestion at all. If my skin was more oily and really prone to congestion and buildup, acne, then I would do a double cleanse regardless. So the next step is what I'll be applying before my LED treatment. If you want a more in-depth understanding of all things LED, then I have a video on that I will link. It will explain what to look for, what is actually proven to be effective, and what you probably don't really want to waste your money on. This is actually the perfect time for me to be doing a red light treatment while I'm retinizing, while my skin has so much redness, reactivity, inflammation, and it's so sensitive. One of the things that red light does really, really well is just decrease inflammation. It encourages healing and speeds it up, which is also what makes it great for acne. It can really speed up the healing of blemishes. It could also enhance the effects of your skincare treatments, which is why there's certain things that you should probably avoid. Avoid any leave-on exfoliating treatments, so AHA, BHA toners, and serums. Don't apply that before your LED treatment. Retinoids is another one. You really don't want to be using your retinols, your adaptogens, or tretinoins before your LED treatment, but it's great to use after. I'm also not going to use the copper peptides beforehand because that could be pretty strong as well. That's something I would reserve for after LED. You also don't want to use anything too heavy like a moisturizer before your LED treatment because you don't want it to potentially just block the infrared rays from just penetrating deeply into your skin. What's great to use before your red light treatment though is any wash-off mask, especially if it's a decongesting like a clay one or if it's an exfoliating mask. If you like gentle physical exfoliants that you can just rinse off, that's perfect before red light treatment, or even a physical exfoliant like one of these. You know, I definitely want to demo this because it's kind of like been a new thing for me, especially now that I can't use acids because of, you know, the redness and the sensitivity and the retinizing. This is actually coming pretty handy, and I was hoping that I'd be able to do an exfoliating treatment for this routine, but the truth is my skin just is not feeling ready for it right now. I personally prefer not to use any leave-on treatments prior to LED, or if my skin is feeling particularly dehydrated, I will use a green tea toner. This was inspired by a personal study someone made that was published. What they did was they actually brewed green tea and they applied it as a mask for 20 minutes before they did their LED treatment, and just noticed that the results were so much more enhanced afterwards. That was enough for me. So the most obvious next step for me is going to be Dr. Ceuracle's Vegan Kombucha Tea Essence. This is 78% green tea and green tea extract. I'm using a light layer of this and not as heavy-handed as I tend to usually be because I just want to make sure that there is no chance of interference for the red light. Before I use any facial device or tool, I always wipe it down with alcohol first. I've tried many LED masks, but I highly recommend a silicone one because the silicone ones are almost like when you go to a spa and they put a rubber mask because it really seals the hydration into the skin. The Light Salon one that I'm using has actually a really beneficial feature. It has an extra strap that you can place on the top of your head, and that makes a difference to how well the mask sits. It actually really lays flat against your face. This has been thoroughly tested to be safe for the eyes, but if you still feel uncomfortable, or if you feel more comfortable wearing goggles, then, you know, by all means, I would definitely do that. For me, I actually like to just lie down when I'm using this and just close my eyes and just relax, because there's something about red light that actually does calm you down emotionally as well. You know, something I could always use. I think I should probably stop talking now because it might be freaking some of you out. After treatment, my skin always just feels so smooth and I feel really relaxed. My skin has pretty much just been absorbing everything in its path. After that mask treatment, I feel like it's all gone. It's just all gone in. So I'm gonna do my CAIS. I almost feel like I'm starting from scratch again. This is the serum that I like to alternate with my tret. So on my non-tret nights, this is my go-to. Every single time, the first treatment I use after an LED treatment always kind of feels so much more enhanced. But yeah, my skin feels so smooth and soft right now after the CAIS. I am feeling like I need more hydration though. I mean, 10 minutes ago, I used a really kind of light layer of hydration, so I'm just gonna go back with another layer of this. I'm just gonna be a lot more generous this time. My skin is just drinking up hydration at the moment. Like, I almost feel like I cannot have enough. Now things feel like really plump and right again. And then again, my dream eye cream from You to the People. Someone mentioned that this was like a hug for your eyes. That's like a perfect description. And then of course my Farmacy Honey Halo, which honestly at this point I'm just scraping the jar. But it's actually quite amazing how many applications you can get from scraping the remains. For lips, a trusty staple. From Nux, their Rêve de Miel. In the winter, all my balms really solidify. It's all about the honey, and it smells really good. This stays on my lips. This has a more of a clingy, sort of a waxy feel, but this stays on my lips the entire night. In the winter, to really treat my skin right before I go to bed. I don't use sleeping packs anymore, but I love a good finishing serum from Biologique Recherche. Do you need a sleeping pack or a finishing serum for that matter? No, but I gotta say, when I do use it, it is really quite glorious. The one I'm using is Serum Grand Millésime. They use this in the Biologique Recherche facials. What I also love about this, it's just a very light layer. It's almost like a light, weightless sealant. So it's not like you have a whole nother thing sitting on your face. They have different finishing serums for different skin types. The Yal, it's sort of mattifying. This is great if you are concerned about age defense, if you have sensitive, dry, diminished skin. I just feel like in the morning, I wake up and my skin just looks really much brighter. One day I will invest in the larger bottle. Meanwhile, these smaller bottles are really funny because I feel like these are little udders. But anyway, I only use a few drops and then I just press it into my skin. And it gives the skin just this extra glossiness. I'm smiling because I already am loving it. My skin is already just joyous. This is also great for daytime use because it does sort of act as a shield against the environment as well. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. I have one more day left for the series, and then I'm probably going to do some like fun at-home spa days. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye!